Hi, so I'm going to read for you on the question, why are they being weird? And I want you to pick from 1, 2, 3, 4, or that's it. There's 4 of them. Okay, so this is the first reading, and it's for those who choose number 1. Alright, so I'm feeling the weirdness. It's making me uncomfortable. And I feel like you're probably putting in your head a couple equations, like this and this and this means this, that something seems wrong, something doesn't really completely add up. So I'm just going to see what the tarot says for you. Okay. So, first thing that popped out was the Emperor. That's a card of boundaries. So it's telling you that this person is maybe someone who really is very rigid around what their needs are, even if they don't express and communicate it. So they like to do things their own certain way. They want to meet not halfway, but they want you to meet them all the way on their side. So whenever I see the Emperor coming up in my reading, I'm reminded that this might be a stubborn person who has needs, wants, or demands that aren't in alignment with mine, and that I remember I am my own Emperor. I have my own boundaries, I have my own needs and demands. And so that's the first thing that's coming up. This whole relationship and whatever it is, it's really about boundaries. So if this is a romantic partner, if this is somebody you work with, if this is a roommate or family member, doesn't matter. This is about people kind of rubbing each other the wrong way, because it really comes down to what their boundaries and needs are. And then we have Temperance. So to me, this is saying this is a negotiable experience. Temperance is about kind of figuring out the right approach by experimentally playing with the situation. So that means, you know, let's say it's a coworker. Usually when people want a tarot reading, it's a romantic partner, but let's just say it's a coworker. And they're always kind of slighting you, right? And you're like, what is their deal? I've tried to be nice to them, I've tried ignoring them. It's saying just keep trying a little bit over time. Your consistency of behavior will make them feel more comfortable, because they'll know what to expect from you. Especially when we see the Emperor here. This is all about boundaries. So if they can't quite figure you out, or if they're feeling that you might be a risk to what their boundaries are, showing up consistently is over time is one way that people understand what to expect from you, and it makes them feel more at ease. And then we see Queen of Coins inverted. What I see there is that this person is disturbing you because you feel like you're trying really hard to manage the situation, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes that they don't even know about, on how much you're compromising yourself, how much you're trying to make things work in a way that you feel comfortable with, but meanwhile you're uncomfortable, and there's this sort of like silent battle in your head of like, what is going on? And we have 8 of Cups. So this is a cause to retreat a little bit. So it's saying when you remove yourself from the situation a bit, which doesn't necessarily mean quit your job or break up with someone or never talk to them again or send them a text like, I'm creating space now. Like, you don't have to verbalize it, you don't have to make an action. This is an emotional response. So the 8 of Cups is saying that in the privacy of your own home, you know, before bed, if you do these little rituals of letting go and saying, I'm off the clock, how do I feel about this? What are things that make me feel horrible that I can remove from my life in this situation? Resetting yourself by getting in touch with how you're actually feeling and processing, and then putting yourself back into the primary position and your own worldview. Because what I see here with the Emperor and the Temperance and the Queen of Wands and coins inverted, it's like this experience has been a bit disempowering. So you're feeling uncomfortable because you're trying to make things cool and your efforts aren't being well received and you can't really figure out what's going on. So meanwhile, your center of power is like out here floating around with what could be happening, and this person feels however what, you know, and then you feel like, okay, well, once I make this right, I will feel restored. I will feel at peace again. But actually, you don't need their approval for that. You don't need their understanding or harmony. The Eight of Cups is asking you to go inward and kind of say, I can let go of these things that piss me off. What can I do in my life to make myself feel at peace? I'm talking about feelings, you know? Oh, I think it's actually really uncomfortable when I'm like trying to smile and be like, hi, how was your day? And they're like, you know, I don't like that. Which I'm sure you don't need to meditate to realize you don't like it. But getting back in and being like, why do I care? You know, why am I trying to get this approval? Why am I trying to make it right? I'm going to go back into my center and remember the things that matter to me and the things that bring me joy, and sort of take the power back into my own center, and then look out at the things that I want to see and bring into my life, resetting the focus a bit from this person who, at this point, whether they mean to or not, are a negative influence. They're an energy vampire. They're sucking your energy, which we have a finite little sum of each day, and they're taking too much of your attention. So then we're going to go to Two of Coins. This is the outcome card. Excuse me. So Two of Coins is about having the ability to juggle a bit. It's about being able to be flexible and move in between spaces. To me, also, this card represents someone who wears two hats or more. So it could be someone who is a single mother, and then they work, and then they also take some classes on the weekends to whatever, you know. So in each of these roles, they have to take on different attributes, different, what do you call it, sorry, or different responsibilities, you know. So it's saying that you will feel like you get to a point where you're like, I'm flowing in this relationship, in this job when I have to interact with this person. I keep going with the coworker scenario. In this house where I have this roommate that's acting this way, in this relationship is when somebody's being this way. What role do I decide to step in here? And I'm not going to leak that over into my own personal time. I'm not going to let that bleed into the other parts of my life. I'm going to go ahead and establish how I'm going to approach this and what my boundaries, roles, and posturing is for that. It's different than being fake, you know. It's saying what is required of me in this scenario, and how can I do that most comfortably in a way where I don't take the baggage home with me. So the Two of Coins coming out as your outcome card is saying that you're going to get to a point where you're deciding, like, how am I stepping into this position? What's the bullshit I could let go of? What's actually important here? Maybe it isn't for them to smile back at me when they come into the office or wherever you work. Sorry, I keep going to that coworker scenario, but this applies to, again, so many different things. Maybe the goal of me being there is actually just to focus on my own work, and I don't need to worry about what they're up to. And if they have a stick up their ass, because that's their shit, it's not mine. So redefining what your role is in such scenarios and sticking to that, staying in your lane, minding your own business and having business to mind. Sorry, we're in a basement, so sometimes you hear the rain stick go off. So basically it's saying deciding what your role is in the scenario, playing that part, understanding when to cut the negative flow, not letting it bleed into other parts of your life. Again, what this person karmically is calling out of you is good boundaries. having better boundaries. And part of that is really knowing what you stand for, what you're doing, where you're going, and what you actually want. So checking in constantly with how you feel about it, or resetting your plans, that's good. That's all a center operating mode, which is different than being selfish. It's actually taking the pressure off of the social scenario completely, because you're taking care of yourself. And of course you're going to still be, a nice person, you're not like a mean, horrible asshole just because you're staying in your lane. It's saying that you're not going to overextend anymore towards people that are wastes of your time. So I hope that helps you in whatever weirdness you're experiencing right now. Thank you. So this is for card number 2. And I'm going to go ahead and shuffle for you a little bit. Let's see why they're being weird. This is a different vibe than the last one. Oh, there's something coming out. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Wow. Baby. Okay. Ooh, alright. Okay. So, to me, the last one, I kept using the reference of the coworker for whatever reason, because that's the vibe I was getting more. But this, I feel like, is more romantic. So if somebody's being weird, it's either someone who's being weird because there's a romantic attraction and it hasn't been expressed because they're going through a breakup, or it's someone you're with romantically and they're not expressing their interest in parting. So I know that's like a stab in the heart, but just keep rolling with me. Let's see what we can do for you. So we have the Magician inverted. So the Magician is all about making things happen. It's about snap. Look at this. Wow, disappeared. This is happening now. When it's inverted, it's saying that that little spark of making it happen is being withheld. So this person has something to express, and, cat's got their tongue, whatever. Like, they're holding back on this game changer expression, this thing that they want to burst out and give or offer or say or change, but they can't. And what's holding them back, pushing them back, is this 10 of Swords. The way it was like this. It's like, here, this is how it was shaped. These swords are just poking them. So they know that whatever they say will be a really significant shift, because it will end a certain cycle, and that will be a grievous period. So it could be that you have a friend that has a crush on you and you didn't know, because here you are, the Fool inverted, which means you're not stupid, you're not a total fool, but I think that there's factors that you don't know about because you don't want to look at it. You're like kind of pulling the wool over your own eyes, so to speak, There's a lot of signs here, and it's hard for you to embrace it because they're not saying it, of course, and it would be such a drastic shift. So this could be a person that you have a long-standing friendship with, that they don't want to communicate their feelings because they're like, well, if I do, that will shift our relationship, and maybe they won't want to be my friend anymore, and maybe that will change that. If they do and they are down and we break up, maybe we won't be able to continue seeing each other as people, and that will be hard for me. Or you're in a relationship and they're like, okay, I really need space, I really need to go do this, but I don't want to express it because I think that will fuck everything up. And sometimes people also break up with people not because they hate them or they're seeing other people or whatever, they're just needing space for whatever reason. I don't know, this is a general reading, so this could mean a lot of different things. And then what we see here is the Tower. That's doubling up on the 10 of Swords, which is like, yeah, like this person knows that when they speak whatever it is, it just like shifts like everything so fast. This information will blow your mind. Again, you have the full inverted here. It's like you kind of know, but you don't want to know. Does that make sense? Then we have the Knight of Coins inverted, and then you see that the picture here is just a horse's ass, which to me is what it sounds like. I think this person is a little bit of a horse's ass. Like, I think their contemplation and their overthinking and all their processing and whatever is totally valid, because they're right, it would shift things. But this Knight inverted here is telling me that they're like, they're kind of a low vibration person. They aren't always thinking big picture. They're grounded, you know, they're someone who is pragmatic, you know, someone who maybe doesn't necessarily believe in tarot readings, you know what I mean? Like, they're just like, all right, what you see is what you get, this is what you do, and this is what happens. So they're not the most sensitive person, even though, you know, them withholding their information or their expression is a sign of, you know, caring about how their words affect situations. They ultimately have their hands tied, and they're not really woke about it, you know what I mean? And they're seeing the world in a very black and white, in a very sharp binary between this or that, this will happen or this will happen. And of course, because they see things that way, and they're thinking this way, and they're acting this way, their finesse is gone, and their words will be powerful and earth-shaking, because they don't know another way. For them, they can't imagine a way to be a little bit more well-rounded, and like figuring out how to navigate through something in a way that is subtle, beautiful, higher-minded. They're a little brutal, you know, which doesn't mean they're a bad person. They're just kind of an ass. Does that make sense? So we have the Three of Cups inverted here, right next to the Queen of Cups. So what that tells me is this will probably come out when they're drunk or at a party or something. So this is going to come out when they're feeling comfortable, when they're in a celebration space. Excuse me. So when they're in a space where they can let loose a little bit, I think it's just going to slip out, you know? And then when I see Queen of Cups here, it's saying that they think of you as someone that they can trust, someone who's nurturing, someone who's empathetic and understanding. So I think that that's the role you'll take with this information, even if it is here, where it creates a lot of destruction or changes or shifts. When you hear this stuff, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to hold space for you. I'm going to hear you out. I get it. I'm listening. I care about you. Of course you care, otherwise you wouldn't be looking at this video. But so basically it's saying that this person has something to say that's a real game changer, and they're really afraid because they know that they won't be able to turn the tide once it's unleashed. It'll just have its own sort of trajectory. So it could be a lot of things. You know, this is a general reading again. But I think that whatever it is, you're going to be able to be of high emotional intelligence and understand how to take the information for the best. So thank you and good luck. So this is for card number 3. If you're a number 3, welcome. And I'm going to pull for you right now. Why is this person being weird? Okay, it's weird, you know, doing these general readings. Sometimes this sort of download comes in and it's like, oh, this is maybe the energy going on. Hold on, my phone is being weird. Okay. Okay, let's do this. I see already. Sorry. Oof. Oh, I'm getting not so great energy here. Alright, so Eight of Wands inverted next to Page of Swords. Eight of Wands is in the Page of Swords is saying this person feels overwhelmed. This person wants change and they don't know how to go about making it. This person might be either young or emotionally immature, or you know, less mature than you, let's say. So they don't know how to see the forest through the trees. They're trying to like cut away. They're trying to move forward. But they feel like they're like, how do I change any of these things? I just feel frustrated and I'm like just kind of lashing out in different weird ways because I don't really know the exit strategy. They're trying to end a cycle or a pattern. Nine of Coins above the Queen of Wands. So Nine of Coins above the Queen of Wands is saying that this person is thinking a lot about their career, which I could almost hear some of you snickering, like, what career? Like, what are they talking about? This person is thinking about the way they want to live their life and how they want to be moving through this world, how they want to be acting and working and making money. And then the Queen of Wands under that, there's like a fire under their ass. There's like this passion inside of them, which is highly creative. Like there's a lot of strength in their energy towards making this happen. And they're looking down a long road and they're like, yeah, I want to take this road. I don't know how to get off the freeway. I don't know how to get out of here. Like they're freaking out because they don't really understand how to connect to the next chapter. And then we see Seven of Swords. Oh my god, I'm like getting short of breath just thinking about like how I feel like they feel like a panicked little rat in the cage, you know, like that song. Seven of Swords above the King of Coins. Okay, so this is how it's laying. It's like that. So all of these swords going right into the head of the King of Coins. So this is saying that there are a lot of thoughts going on in there. There's a lot of thoughts, and the thoughts are like a point of a sword, like accusatorily pointing right at them and saying, like, what are you going to do about this? Like, this and this and this are things you need to do. Oh, you want to be a scientist? I don't care. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to go to school. You're going to have to figure out how to fund that. You're going to have to figure out where to live when you go to school. You're going to have to figure out how to apply. Like, they're just like, oh my God, like, how do I even go forward? When I think of the step or the thing, there are all of these things that I have to figure out, learn, and try and find. And I am overwhelmed already. I don't even know. They're feeling overwhelmed. Yep, Eight of Swords again. Cage of anxiety. They're feeling bad because they feel alone in their needs. Let's see. Four of Coins. So they need to figure out how to ground themselves a little and take it day by day. Not that it's your job just because you're looking at their reading, but if you want to be a helpful person in this person's life, I would say they won't even know how to like start communicating all the things that they're thinking and feeling. They're feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm feeling kind of like a young masculine feeling here. It doesn't, again, gender doesn't matter there. It's like young masculine. So, yeah, like again, Page of Swords. Yeah, exactly. Which means that there's a lot of dormant energy that's like inside of them that wants to just go, like, I need to do this. Like, I want to go here. So that's the masculine form. It's out like that. So the Four of Coins is saying that they need to learn how to pace themselves. They need to have their both feet on the ground. They need to have consistent cash flow while they're building their dreams. They need to have, like, basically their bases covered because they feel sprawled out. They're way too up in their goddamn head. They can't see their hand in front of their face. They're like in a fog of their dreams and how to manifest them and like all the things that they can't take it one step at a time, because it's just like this wash over them of all the things that they feel at the same time that they want to go. So I would, if you have an opportunity and if you're interested, say like, hey, like these are some pragmatic steps, or like I know someone that's hiring over here, or this or that, like, oh, my friend has a room for rent in their apartment, whatever. Like just little things to help them feel like sort of more grounded. That is going to be the most important thing for them to feel less crazy and confused and stressed and overwhelmed. And for them to see lucidly what the steps are and the progression that they have to take towards their long-term goals, because they really want to have a huge life development, a bigger shift. All right, let's move on. Thank you so much for listening, number 3. All right, number 4, welcome. I'm just going to start pulling for you right away. Let's waste no time. Okay. Ooh, damn. All right. We have King of Wands here. This person is horny. This person is so horny. First of all, this person is so horny. That's the first thing that's making them weird. There's more. Okay, let's keep going. 5 of Cups. This person feels sorry for themselves. They look at their life as the cup half empty. You know what I mean? They're like, oh God, all these people have taken advantage of me, either maliciously or through foolishness. I'm not doing so well. I have bad luck. They're like, okay, they're a horny person that feels sorry for themselves and doesn't feel empowered about where they're at in their life and does not feel at peace with their past. Great combination. Let's keep going. Okay, 3 of Coins inverted. This person is at, like, because they're seeing that way, they're like kind of painting themselves in a corner. They're putting themselves in a dead end. So if you're in a relationship with this person, I'm sorry, because they are way up in here. Like, they are not being able to appreciate the value of things in front of them and see them for what they are, because they haven't forgiven the wounds of the past and put themselves in a place of empowerment in their own experience. Meanwhile, they're trying to feel empowered through sex. That's where they think that they can like get a little huff of their power back. So they're all fucked up. They're confused. They need to face their demons. And with the 3 of Coins inverted, so 3 of Coins this way, it's like about building, it's about marriage, it's about new beginnings, it's about creating a foundation for a long-standing thing to grow in. When it's inverted, it's saying, that ain't gonna happen. You see it on the table, but it's inverted. So it's like, oh yeah, this was a facade. This actually can't sustain because this person doesn't have the right facilities to grow, because they can't see what's in front of them, because they just project their own illusions of how they are going to live their life because of other people's decisions and other people's things, and because they're cursed or whatever they think. Sorry, that's a little harsh, but that's what I'm seeing here. If it's not your reading, that's okay. I don't mean you any harm, and you can go ahead and keep scrolling and find another reading for this, but I'm going to keep going with this one if you want to continue. Knight of Cups here. This person is very dreamy. They're very romantic. They're very, they like the poetry of life, and they're not, and that's also a form of escapism, as is this here, you know, sex and poetry. Those are their escapes. So they're being weird and inconsistent because they feel too sorry for themselves to see what's right in front of them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm going to keep going and see where this ends up. So 7 of Coins here. So this person has a lot of work to do. And they also, here you see everyone's gambling. There's such desperation inside of them that they're willing to like bet the house on blackjack or whatever. Like, they're not thinking about, they're looking for a miracle, because literally that's what they think will take to prove to them that the universe doesn't hate them and that they have a chance to have a good life instead of just switching the lights on and looking at what's in front of them. Does that make sense? But this type of person, it doesn't matter how many miracles they get, because they won't be able to see what's in front of them. They need to pull their head out of their ass. Then we see Three of Swords. So this person is dishonest. If you didn't get that from the gambling or the Three of Coins inverted, their self-pity has made them dishonest. And because they feel in a space of lacking, they're like, well, what if I just do this? What if I just take this? What if I just cut a corner? That rule doesn't apply to me because I'm in pain, because I need it, because I need that miracle, because I need that little magic. So they're a little weird because they're in La La Land. They're not here with us. They're in their own fantasy of their shitty life and what they think has been happening to them, because they won't feel empowered until, I don't know, until the cows come home. I don't know how long this kind of personality can go on for. I don't like it though. So if I were you, and because you are getting a tarot reading, and I guess it's my position to give you advice, I would say back away slowly, make peace with your own heart, and know like, okay, this isn't me. This isn't anything that I did. There's nothing I can do to make someone's worldview shift. I can have heartbreaking conversations. I could stay up all night crying. I could try to understand. I could try to show up, and I could try to give them those miracles. But like I said, they won't see them because their head is like in their ass, okay? Like they can't see you. They can't see you. They're in a delusion that's based on their projected reality of what they think has happened to them. Have they had some bad luck? Sure. Have you? Yeah. Have I? Yeah. Most of us have had bad things happen to us, but we have to keep rolling, you know? And this is how we feel empowered, and this is how we avoid being toxic to other people. So when someone's in that space, I know when I've been in that space before, you know, it's always nice, kindness is always appreciated, but also you can't grow if someone's being around you who lets you behave this way. So I say, take a step back. This person is a hot mess. If this is someone you're in a relationship with and you deeply love, whatever is meant to be will be. There's nothing you can lose in this world that's meant for you. So I would say put it down, step away, let them figure out their own thing, because you cannot help them. You can't talk them into it. You can't hug them into it. You can't fuck them into it. You can't write a beautiful poem for them to be like, oh, that's it. Like they're never gonna wake up. You need to disengage for your own reasons. But if they're going to be okay someday, I'll pull a card for them. We have Ace of Cups. They need a little solitude. They need a little time to really process. Because when they're constantly engaging and throwing new things in the mix, and new situations, and new people, new emotions, and new things that they feel guilty about, it's just more things for them to process, and it's overwhelming. It just is suppressed. Do you know what I mean? They need a long time out for them to go through and start processing all those subconscious things that they've just piled on top of. So if they're way back there, it's because they haven't had time to catch up. So giving them space is probably the best possible thing you could do, so they can feel centered and whole and heal themselves and get out of this like weird, stupid ass repeating pattern, like making their life a nightmare situation that they're doing here. It's not your fault, and it's not your problem. And just because you care about someone doesn't mean that you have to fix them, or that you're bad or wrong or not good enough because they can't snap out of it because you're there. You are a lovely human being, I'm sure, and you'll find exactly what you're looking for, but it ain't there. Okay, well, please don't hate me. And I hope you enjoyed your reading anyway, even though it was a little heavy-handed. All right.